Milo. Hi. What do you have? What is that? What is that? What do you have? Oh, corn! Oh, corn on the cob. Can I have it? Can I have the corn? No, come here. Can Mama see? Can I see? Can I see? Okay. All right. All right. Goodbye, Milo. Have fun. I love you. Hi, this is Jenna with Brown Dog Craft Company, and today I'm sharing a card with this new release called Super Sunflowers from Simon Says Stamp. So we're going to use that die cover plate, and we're going to use the weathered wood background stamp, and then this elegantly modern greetings, the stamp and die set, and that stamp and die set does come with a foil set also. I'm not going to use the foil today. So here I'm going to do what I call faux watercoloring. So I've cut out the sunflower die, which is A2 card panel, so it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I've cut that out from some Bristol Smooth cardstock. And that's what I use whenever I color with my zig markers. So that's what I have here. I've got some zig markers, and I'm going to color on some of the marker, and then I will blend it together with a water pen. So this is a really fun way to color with your zigs because you don't have to be super precise with where you're coloring, because the water does all the blending and you can move the ink around, and so it's easy to do. So, and you could do this with any water-based marker. So here I've got my water pen, my water brush, and I'm just gonna squeeze some water out the tip and then sort of dab it off on a towel there, and then blend everything together. So the two colors I'm using for the center of the sunflowers are dark brown and mid brown. So I'm going to add the dark brown into the outside there, and then the mid brown on the outside, and then blend them together. And then if you don't think it's dark enough, you can always wait for it to dry just a little bit and then scribble on some more color, which is what I do on pretty much all of the images. For the leaves here, those are English Ivy and Grass Green, which are two of my favorite colors for leaves. And so as you can see, I'm messily scribbling on, and I'm not worrying too much about staying on the die cut lines there because that background is going to pop right out. So it's okay if you get some coloring outside of the lines. So I'm sort of tracing the detail or wherever I think the darker areas of the leaves should be with the darker color. And then the leaves definitely sort of faded in color when I added the water, so those I'm definitely going to add some more color to. Behind my panel here, I've got just a spare piece of cardboard backing from a package, just to pick up any of the water or color that might seep through. So when you die cut this particular background die, it's very detailed, so I would suggest using a shim, maybe a cardstock shim or a metal shim, just something to give your die cut machine a little bit more pressure and make sure you cut out all those little intricate details. So here I'm adding some more dark color to the centers of the sunflowers and blending that out, and then again adding some more dark to the leaves and then blending that out. And what I try to do is color all of the same images at one time and then clean out my water brush. Otherwise, if you go from coloring something green to coloring something yellow, you might end up tinting your yellow things with that green color. So I just tend to color all of one thing and then clean out my water brush and then move on to the next. Now the sunflowers, I used 3 colors, so I have light brown, bright yellow, and yellow. So here I'm taking the light brown, which is definitely the darkest color, and sort of feathering that out from the base of the sunflower. And I will add that to all the sunflowers. And then I will go through and from the base add some bright yellow, and then blend that all together with the water pen. I won't show coloring all of the sunflowers because they're all watercolored the same. But I'll show you how I add the next two colors also. So I really like zig markers or any watercolor or any water-based marker because you can do so much with them. You know, you can color with them similar to like how you would color with an alcohol marker. You can faux watercolor with them like I did here. Another fun thing when you're stamping is to stamp an image and then heat emboss it, and then use this same technique where you're coloring on some color and then using a water brush to blend the color together, because the heat embossed line will help hold your color in that particular spot. So there's so many ways to color with water-based markers, and it's really fun to try. Another thing I thought about doing with this background die is ink blending. So using some small detailed ink blending brushes and then ink blending some browns and yellows and greens onto that. So definitely could give that a try too. And I think it would be pretty easy to ink blend because you can get some ink on that background there and you don't have to worry about it since we're going to punch it away. So lots of possibilities with this die set. So here I'm going to blend all of that together with the water brush, and I'm trying to start at the base of the leaf and bring my pen or my water brush out when I'm blending. And I will do that to all of the sunflower leaves. When you are coloring with zigs, try to keep your hand out of what you've just colored because they do stay wet for a while. So you can smear it or get it all over your hand. Ask me how I know. So here I'm going to go back. I wanted the sunflower, the base of the leaves of the sunflowers to be darker. So I'm doing the same thing I did with the centers of the sunflowers and the leaves, is just adding some more color and then blending it out again. So I will do that also with all of the sunflower leaves. No need to be super precise because that water brush makes the magic happen. So I did die cut this from the Bristol Smooth, which is white. And I feel, so there's like a very thin, like 1/8 inch border around this die, which holds all of the sunflowers in place. And I left that white originally, and I feel like it doesn't blend in to the background that I'm going to make. So I think maybe one, you could definitely try doing this on a colored cardstock. You know, the ink may not blend as well as it does on the Bristol, but I think it would still blend. So then you could have a colored cardstock outside, or you can do what I did, which is we'll color in the outside with our darker marker. So I'm going to set that aside to dry, and here I'm taking some Neenah Desert Storm cardstock and that wood grain background stamp, and I'm going to stamp that with some mocha ink. So it always surprises me when I do this technique how much different the cardstock panel goes from when it was the plain color to the finished product, because it just, I can't even believe that there's such a difference, and it just looks so pretty. So after that stamped successfully, we'll pull that out, and then we're going to take some cappuccino ink. These are both from the Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated line. So I'll pull out a little glass mat and my blending brush, and here's the cappuccino ink, and I'm going to ink blend this with my large blending brush onto the entire panel. So sides, in the middle, everywhere. I want this to sort of look like maybe like a distressed wood crate, that you would maybe go pick sunflowers with or take photos in a sunflower field with. We have 2 really pretty sunflower fields right by my house, and every year we always look forward to when the sunflowers finally bloom and we get to go stop on the side of the road and take some pictures, and it's always really pretty. And it's fun to watch the sunflowers. I can't think of what it's called, but the sunflowers will change the direction they face to always face the sun. So depending on what time of day it is, the sunflowers are facing in different directions, which is really fun because I don't think that many flowers do that throughout the day. And it does have a term. I just can't remember what the term is. So if you know, leave a comment and let me know. So here I'm taking some mocha ink, which is the same color we stamped the background in. And I'm just ink blending that just on the edges. So here I've got some white acrylic paint, and I'm going to add a little bit of water that's in my splat box. And I'll take a little paintbrush and I'll splatter some white drops onto the background here. Now these first ones, they ended up really large, which I wasn't exactly going for, but I just went with it and hoped that it would turn out, and I think it did. So these are more of what I was going for. I was going more for spatter, not splatter, but I got both. So now the difference between like white acrylic paint and white gouache is that the white acrylic paint will take on, as it dries, it will take on a bit of the ink color that's behind it. And I actually liked that for this because I didn't want it to be bright white per se. I sort of wanted it to be a creamish color. So I think it worked out that the white acrylic paint absorbed some of the brown ink a little bit. So here I've got some more Nina Desert Storm, and I have the sentiments birthday and wishing you the best. And I'm stamping those with some embossing ink. And I'm making sure to press gently, especially on that little sentiment. And then once that's stamped well, I will take some Simon Says Stamp Ultra Fine Cream embossing powder and sprinkle that over the top. I thought the cream would go better than the bright white for these sunflowers. So I'll sprinkle that over. Get a little bit more maybe. There's a smudge on my cardstock there. I'm not entirely sure what that's from, but it's all right. Okay, so then I will melt that with my heat tool. And then the birthday has a coordinating die. So I will cut out birthday with the coordinating die. And then for wishing you the best, I'm just going to pull out a sentiment label and die cut wishing you the best with that. It's a rectangle shape. And then to give the birthday some dimension, you could add foam tape or foam squares on the back, but instead I cut out 2 extra birthday dies. So I'll stack them. There'll be 3 together total. There's no shadow die for these, just the regular die. So I'll get that all die cut. There's our pieces. And now my panel is dry here, and I'm going to pop out very carefully the background. So this is where it would be helpful if you used a shim when you're die cutting it. I think it would pop out a lot easier than this. So I won't make you watch this. It took me about 3 or 4 minutes just to get it out. So it sort of helped if I cut away the pieces that I popped out to make it easier to get my fingers in there. Just be careful, especially if your cardstock is still a little bit wet. You don't want to rip anything. So I'll get this panel out, and there we go. Now you can see it has that white border, and it just doesn't quite blend in. So here I'm going to bring back my that cardboard piece, and I'm going to take one of the brown markers and color that background in that brown. So we'll get that all covered, and then I think that looks a lot better on the finished card. So get all the edges here. Go all the way around. And then this is really detailed. You know, you probably could cut it out a couple times and glue it together to give it some dimension, but I decided to just glue it directly onto the panel that we created with the wood grain background stamp. So I will, oh, there's a little piece of the background stuck in there. I'm just going to snip that out quick. Pop that out. There we go. Perfect. There, that looks a lot better, I think. I think that looks better right side up. You could do it either way, I think. Okay, so here I'll add some dimension, or I'll add some glue to these birthday sentiments and glue them all together. Just layer them one on top of another. You could cut it out of some foam too. Okay, and then I'll glue down, or I'll put some glue on the back of this die cut here. And then I'll just add little dots over the sunflowers and the leaves all over. I don't want to add too much because I don't want it to squeeze through. So just some little dots. And then line that up on the panel. So it should fit your A2 card perfectly. And then once I get that lined up, I will put a large clear block on top of it. I almost never stamp with that large clear block, but I sure do use it as a paperweight. So I'll give that a couple minutes to set, and I'll add some foam tape to the back of the wishing you the best sentiment, and some liquid glue to the back of the birthday. So here I'm going to put the birthday in like the bottom third of the card, towards the right, and I will add wishing you the best just above it. So I think you could definitely leave it like this, but I'm going to pull out from Pink and Main. I've got a gem pack here, and these are sort of orangish, yellowish. When you put them on the card, they definitely take on the yellow from the sunflowers. So I'm going to add those randomly throughout the card. I like to add an odd number of embellishments, so I think I add 9. And these are all the same size. I was hoping some were smaller than the other, but they're all the same size. So I think they look pretty though in the end. So there we go. I've got those all glued down. And that's going to be the finished card for today. So pretty. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content. I hope you give this a try. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day.